What's up guys, and welcome back to another replay cast. We have a game today between Flash and Jaedong. That's right man, I just cannot get enough of watching these two play, so I have gone deep into the lab to find as many games of them between these two as I could from various times. Today's game was played in April of 2025, so quite recent. I think Flash had recently kind of returned to Broodwar on a semi-permanent basis. Jaedong had still been pretty active around this time, going strong, playing under this Endai JD23 alias, and we're on Polestar for today's game, and I'm really looking forward to bringing this to you, man. The best of 3 we did of the World Cyber Games from 2010 did incredibly well on the channel. There's obviously a interest in watching these two play. It's quite nice to have done a game or a series of theirs from 16 years ago, and then we can get one from last year. So let's see how, if you know, anything has changed between these two players over that somewhat lengthy period of time. I'm definitely looking forward to this TVZ. If you guys are as well and you're looking forward to some high quality Brood War between legends and epic rivals, then please do hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. We've enjoyed really awesome growth recently, and it's very much appreciated. The like button also just helps in getting discovered by other Brood War lovers, so if you can tap that button, it's always very much appreciated. So that's it in terms of plugs and slugs. It is the 18th of April today, so at time of recording I would have had no idea how the round of 16 group of death has gone. But the one thing I do want to mention is that I just absolutely loved that Jaedong decided he wanted to play Flash. You know, like if you consider the history between these two, the legacy, the rivalry, it's just absolutely brilliant for Brood War. Everyone has been talking about it. I'm definitely hyped for what's coming up. Obviously, when you're watching this, it would have already happened. But yeah, man, how good for Brood War that these two are playing against each other again on stage. I think it's going to be very exciting. And all the more reason to just keep this beautiful game alive with evergreen content of games between these two. It's a melee replay. I don't think this was played on the ladder. If I look at the configuration on the replay, it looks like it was just a practice game between the two, potentially played on both of these streams. You can imagine if you're Flash streaming and you're Jaedong streaming and you play live, you're going to draw a lot of eyeballs to both your streams and other people that are streaming at the same time that are watching your stream, having watch parties and stuff like that. So this is very common. These Korean guys do this. They make a lot of crowd-funded money doing it as well. A lot of like Pro League and stuff that we see nowadays was kind of born out of expanding on this concept really nicely. So it's really cool that we've now finding a way to have access to replays that are not just any old ladder game that you can find of a decent player against someone. I just think, you know, the ladder games, the players don't take them as seriously. They tend not to necessarily be as good. Sometimes you get a good ladder game for sure. But generally speaking, when these guys are playing competitions or they're practicing or they're doing show matches, the quality of the games are insanely cool. And you'll also get a gem, like an absolute surprise. I just got done recording a game between Jaedong and Snow, and I was very embarrassed because I didn't notice that they'd actually swap races. So Snow was playing Zerg and Jaedong was playing Protoss, and one of the reasons why I didn't notice is that I just wasn't expecting it. So you just assume when you see a game Zerg versus Protoss that Jaedong's going to be the Zerg. And number 2, for the first 7 minutes of the game, they both played absolutely perfect. So like you had no reason to believe that, you know, the one was off racing and the other one was off racing. I did eventually notice it. It was an incredibly embarrassing part of my casting career, but I see the funny side of it. And instead of, you know, running away from the fact that I've made this mistake, I'll just be very authentic and release it exactly how it went down. It's probably come out before this game. So if you haven't seen that one, please check it out. I think watching off racing Zerg and Protoss, especially Jaedong playing Protoss, was really impressive. Anyway, we have a little push from Flash. He's just done it off of Academy. He hasn't rushed +1. has forced out a couple of sunken down, but he's going to push here. Oh, no, he doesn't. Just kind of fakes it till he makes it. Even Frank the Fire that made it into the composition. That's pretty cool. So this forward rack's open from Terran. It's become incredibly popular. Works really, really well on most of these modern maps. Flash just scans the natural, sees the lair, sees the spire. And we're just grouping up our units, not doing anything too dramatic one way or the other at this stage. And our first mooders have arrived. Do we have turrets? The answer is almost. This is like optimal to the absolute degree. In fact, it might be a little late. A couple more mooders will come join the clan. And we'll get a little Jaedong Moodless micro clinic. Let's pick off that SCV like he's nothing. Upgrade on the way, +1. Another ACV picked off, another ACV picked off, another ACV picked off, another one. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe that was the medic, I don't know. Marine as well for luck. Another SCV. Holy crap, he's doing some work here, boys. He's doing some work here, boys. Also did a Flash versus Hero game. If you haven't watched that, it is just unreal. Such a good game from both players. Highly, highly recommend it. I'm just finding so many cracking games at the moment. Absolutely loving bringing them to you guys. Alrighty, so how much more Mutus harassment are we going to try and cook up here today? Up to 8 in our stack. Loaded up our bunker with the fire bats as well. I suppose if links come in, that can be handy dandy. Also expanding behind our Mutus harassment. Very standard stuff from our Zerg. The King of Zerg. The Zerg Meister. Scans exactly there. Because it's Flash. Of course he does. Dum, dum. Okay, so is he now going to go and pressure? He's going to have to be comfortable that the mutas don't just carve him up along the way. He's going to need to keep this little bio ball together, which can be tricky. Scanning what's around him. Flash does scan an unbelievable amount. Jaedong decides, well, if you're moving your army out to try and press my base, I'm just going to dive on you here. And he picked up easily another 4-5 SCVs. And he's going to pick up the trailing bio as well. Pretty comfortably. And Flash has decided, well, now I've just kind of committed myself here. But Jaedong cancels the hatch. Quite happy to probably expand in another location. While he's doing as much damage. Still got the whole stack of mutas. Didn't lose one with all that damage. Alright, so does denying that hatch help a lot? Difficult to say. Just kind of scanning here to confirm what's happening with the mutable. I think if I had to hazard a guess, Jaedong will just try and expand somewhere else. Oh my god, he cleaned out the bunker, so now these lings are getting some work done. Jaedong is just all over Flash here. Oh my god, picks up the tank and gets out of dodge without losing much. I expect he can try and expand again pretty soon. We'll just keep an eye on if he has any drones about. Keeping these marines here, so just very, very keen to make sure he doesn't expand there. So expands here to confirm no expansion, expands here, scans here. So these 3 spots, sees nothing, nothing, nothing. So, I suppose the only downside here is that Jaedong's a little bit pinned back. Okay, he does take another base here. Scans the main, sees the hive, and the defiler mount. It's a pretty fast progression on 2 bases to a pretty high tech tree from Jaedong. And Flash seems to now feel confident enough to consolidate his forces and push. There could be a little bit of a sandwich here. Jaedong just dives on everything here. Holy cow. Flash is having a rough game, boys. If he does get knocked out in ASL, is it going to be a Zerg or a Protoss that does it? I don't think it'll be a Terran. I think he's really good at Terran versus Terran. But Zergs could well be. Alright, we're going to dive in here on this little pod of trailing Marines. They don't stand much of a chance, so goodbye to you fellas. Radiates a couple of lurkers and runs kind of around the lurker field here. Except an Overlord. Temporarily supply blocking Jaedong. Not be too much of a hassle. This is going to be a flank from hell though. Oh dear, run! We could get some serious minced up Marines here, boys. Expanding up here as well, so kind of a double expansion from Jaedong behind this map control. And how does Flash play back from here? So that's what Flash sees. Uh-oh, lurkers are diving on top of everything. It is a rough time to be Flash, guys. He's getting so much damage here. Has to pull all his workers. Oh no! Tries to engage here, but there's dark swarms everywhere. Just here, the spine's doing so much work. Flash maintaining a presence on the map. Scanning to see nothing. It's going to trip him up on the way back. As a tank. Plague has arrived. These Lings just pick on these plagued units and they just die so quickly. Using scan and tanks to fend off the lurkers. I think if Jaedong is smart, he's going to keep Flash relatively contained and continue to expand and possibly drone up behind this. Because then I think his macro strength will just be too high, especially considering how much of an advanced tech tree he currently has. So if I had a sense of how he was going to play this out, making drones behind this, getting extra defiler energy, getting carapace. So yeah, probably a little bit more of a containment strategy because Flash ain't going anywhere. He's not going to be able to make another base very easily. And so base and map control seems to be the name of the game. And lurkers! Scourge picking up some science vessels, which is handy. And he does actually clear this lurker field pretty efficiently. Flash goes back into even supplies and has got more army considering he's got 9 fewer workers. So he wants to push across and try and counter-attack his way back into this game. Don't think he has too many better options, to be honest. So it seems like a reasonable course of action. Just try and zoom out to see the position of the units. A little bit split up here between this pod and this pod, but it's okay. Picks up another science vessel. Flash clearly not at the peak of his powers because one of the things he's notorious for is protecting his science vessels when he's playing SK Terran. Alright, he's going to push this base. I don't know what Jaedong has to try and defend here. The answer seems to be nothing. Just let this hatch go by the looks of it. Another plague. If there's anything doing the Tower Cross game again reminded me of, it was never ever ever count Jaedong out, right? Like, he can look like it's over, and then he just finds a way to hang in there, hang in there, hang in there, and get it done. But Flash has just turned this game on its head from what looked like an incredibly weak position. It's just insane how resourceful he is. Just in terms of options and fallbacks. It's crazy, crazy good. Seems to want to push here, and I think we're going to have an engagement with Cracklings, Dark Swarm, Plague. Oh man, he's just wrecked through those units. Flash now deciding to push here, and he's pushing everything through the Nidus. The Nidus went down there so quickly, and he didn't get enough links through here. So I think Flash is going to take down this hatchery as well. And what a game this has been. It is absolutely ebbed and flowed. I think Jaedong knows that this is toast. What sort of upgrades do we have on our units? 2-1 on our infantry units. We've got +2 carapace. We've got no upgrades on our lings, just carapace at this stage. But that does go down, and we've lost that hatchery. So 79 plays 69, 27 drones. Oh, nice, picking up a couple of vessels there. Transferring drones, getting caught in the crossfire. Some lings that have survived, some mutas that have survived the whole game. So yeah, does still have this base and has re-established this hatchery. But what has Flash got? He's got this base. This is very low. So there will come a point where Flash runs out of money. The question will be, what sort of units can get up and running? Scans here, scans here. No, he doesn't. He scans here, sorry. In here. So we've got this base, but one drone at it. We've re-established this. And now we're back ahead in supply. I don't even know what is going on. I think it's just because Flash's income level is really low. Gonna pick off that Overlord. Always annoying. So supplies are dead even. There's a 10 worker differential. Jaedong firing back up again. Flash trying to establish this base. This is going to be the crux of this game. If Jaedong can deny this, it's going to be in a good spot. Scanning here to see if there's a lurker. Turns out there is. Sorry about that. We killed both players' visions. Not ideal. Alright, so can we hold the space? That is the million-dollar question. Over the tanks on the high ground. Ultras have arrived. Oh my god, this game's had it all. Jaedong's supplies are still very low though. And this is the area he wants to target, and obviously why? Because this is Flash's newest and most critical source of income. The command center's up, he's going to have to lift it off. He has radiated one Ultra. And he's got so many fire bats in this composition, it's actually quite hilarious. Ultras are still just kind of blocking mining for the time being. 90 plays 90, even worker count. Cannot get a closer game than this too easily, I don't think. But these Ultras are dead now, though. Oh, those fire bats are cooking! Let's go! Alright, so what does Jaedong have in store for us now? Let's see. Where is his army? That's the question. Doesn't seem to have any units. Oh, there's a few ultras here. Radiates one immediately. And throws the plague. Jesus, radiated all of the ultras. Lings come in here. And I think these ultras have got a lot of hit points. So it forces another lift off. It's very disruptive. Constantly disruptive. And he's just quietly mining, accumulating income here on his 42 drones. And that is going to make Flash's life really difficult. So should be able to land once again. So Ling Ultra must feel very familiar to old Flash against Bio. Needs to group some units together to storm this. Oh, the plague! The timing on the plague and the dark swarm is going to chew through these units so quickly. And the damage that the Lings do is just unreal. Flash has to hold this base. And I just don't know if he's going to have enough left. He's pretty much got medics left here, nothing else. More reinforcements coming in from Jaedong, as well as some Scourge in case science vessels are the cure. It does kill all of them. Holy crap, what clutch play that is. And Jaedong takes Flash down in what was an incredibly high level game. I mean, if this is just the two of them practicing, holy crap, you can imagine what competitive onstage games will be like. I'm pretty sure this is an on-stream show match, more likely than not, but what an amazing game. If you guys enjoyed that, please do hit that like button. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, take it easy, have fun. Thanks for watching. Bye!